This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 23rd day of June in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here is what we're tracking tonight. The wife of communications consultant Christopher Kit Nascimento was ordered out of the courtroom this morning while he was on the stand in the election fraud trial. The wife, Nascimento, was ordered by Acting Chief Magistrate Faith McGusty to leave the courtroom after she was accused of trying to assist her husband with identifying one of the accused from where she was sitting in the courtroom during his testimony. When the trial resumed this morning, 93-year-old Kit Nascimento took the stand. He was an observer for the Private Sector Commission during the last elections in 2020. While offering evidence, Nascimento found it difficult to identify an APNU-AFC representative who was present at the Region 4 Command Center on the 13th of March 2020 and now sits accused of electoral fraud along with 8 others. Nascimento told the court that he is unable to identify the person clearly and truthfully. He even got up to his feet and walked to an area where the accused was sitting and still could not identify the person. He was asked by the state prosecutor Darshan Ramdani to identify the APNU-AFC representative. After taking a look at his written statement, Nascimento told the court that Carol Smith-Joseph was the APNU-AFC representative who was present at the command center on the 13th of March 2020, when the then returning officer Claremont Mingo indicated that he was proceeding with the tabulation. Nascimento said Smith-Joseph, amid fierce objections by the reps from the PP Civic, told the returning officer to proceed with the tabulation. However, when given a second opportunity to identify Smith-Joseph in the courtroom, Mr. Nascimento told the court that he did not see her in the courtroom. Smith-Joseph was sitting among the accused in the matter. It was during the exchange that Nascimento's wife, Nascimento, was observed directing her husband where to look in the courtroom, and her reported actions were observed by the defense attorneys. Defense attorney Hughes Anderson objected and asked that the record reflects that the wife of the witness was pointing in a particular direction at a crucial time in the evidence. It was at that stage that Nascimento was ordered to leave the courtroom. Once she left the courtroom, Nascimento resumed his testimony. Earlier in his testimony, he told the courtroom that on the 4th of March 2020, he visited the GCOM Command Center, where the votes were being tabulated. He said at the time there were representatives from the People's Progressive Party, the APNU-AFC, and other political parties, as well as the members of the diplomatic corps, which included the U.S. Ambassador at the time, the then British High Commissioner, the then High Commissioner from Canada, and the then EU Ambassador. According to Nascimento, the PP Civic was represented by Sace Narain and Sonia Parag. However, he was unable to identify the names of the APNU-AFC agents. Mr. Nascimento recalled that during the tabulation exercise, the PP Civic representatives began to object to the use of a spreadsheet and insisted that the statements of poll be used. He said what was projected was a spreadsheet and not an SOP, adding that he is familiar with the distinctive features of an SOP. Interjecting attorney-at-law Darren Wade, who forms part of the defense, told the court that the communications consultant is not the competent authority to speak on the SOPs. But maintaining that he knows what a statement of poll looks like, Nascimento testified that the British High Commissioner showed him a copy of an SOP that he had in his possession to suggest that the numbers being called out by the election officials were inaccurate. But Attorney Wade said what the British High Commissioner had in his possession may not have necessarily been a document from GCOM. Nascimento alleged that during the course of the objections at the GCOM Command Center, the then Chief Election Officer Kit Lowenfield entered the tabulation room, stopped the proceedings, and indicated to the returning officer for Region 4, Claremont Mingo, after comparing the two documents, that the numbers projected were not matching the ones he had in his possession. The communications consultant said the next day he was shocked at an attempt by the then returning officer to declare the results of the elections for the District 4, although the process had not been completed. Nascimento said he was astonished. Defense attorney Nigel Hughes later grilled Nascimento on the identity of the APNU AFC representatives and whether or not he had copies of the SOPs or any documentation, including video evidence, to support his claims. Nascimento said he did not. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. It can start with one step. Or one promise. One thrill. One first time. One deep breath. One leap of faith. One day to remember. Or one night to forget. One moment. So many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Chasing a ride that takes you higher? Elevate your drive with the all-new Honda Elevate. Now at Merrick's, the Honda Elevate has a bold style, cutting-edge technology, sleek and modern interior, and intuitive controls that makes every journey feel elevated and comfortable. So, why wait? Drive a Honda Elevate today. It's brand new, 0 miles, 0 worries. Visit Merrick's, the home of Honda in Guyana, or call 226-1482 to learn more.
Today is the day. Sure, you may not have planned on today being that day, but hey, life comes at you fast. And look at you. You just had a baby. And you switched to digital banking. You're finally buying a new car. And you're about to take her to dinner because today is the day. And with the right advice, planning, and encouragement, you can make all your moves. That's why we're here. Our advisors build relationships that are based on more than banks and banking. They're based on life and living. You can set, track, manage your financial goals on your terms as your life evolves. That's how advice should work. Make your moves with us. Scotiabank. It starts with you.
Leader of the APNU and the PNC Reform, Aubrey Norton, and the leader of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes, have agreed that the last coalition agreement and issues that the coalition faced during the last government might have been the primary reason why the two parties were unable to strike another deal since talks commenced earlier this year. During a panel discussion yesterday on Caribbean Tea, a podcast, Mr. Norton said from the onset that he had told Mr. Hughes that persons who were involved in the last coalition government and agreement should not form part of the new negotiation team because of issues of mistrust and other problems which were raised internally. He said for that reason his party ensured that those who were part of the negotiating team were new, since it was of the view that persons who were there previously might have approached the talks with some past grievances.
I believe that the history of anything impacts the present and the future. And therefore, if we were to have a solution, we had to move away from those who were affected by the past. In fact, when I chose our delegation to meet with them, I chose a delegation, none of whom were involved in the process before, so that they will have their own new insights, etc.
Mr. Norton said there were both friction and dissatisfaction in the last coalition. Similar views were also echoed by Mr. Hughes, admitting that some of the issues might have also arisen, given the fact that it was an AFC parliamentarian who brought down the last government.
The experiences of both the negotiations leading up to the Cummingsburg Accord and the experiences during coalition. And I would certainly be the first to say that it was a member of the Alliance for Change that brought the government to its feet. But by that time, there were several difficulties. So I think everybody's instructed by their experiences. And the short answer to your question is yes, we.
On whether the AFC is still willing to be in the coalition, Mr. Hughes said the party has made many compromises and is still open to see what can be done. He admitted, however, that his party does not have the same electoral strength as was the case in 2015, and therefore would need to do its own analysis.
We are not in the same position we were in 2015. There are many reasons for that, including the fact that there was a coalition that did not perhaps work out the way the parties had intended. In relation to your second question about compromises, we're always disposed to make compromises in the best interest of the country.
Also on the panel was WPA co-leader Dr. David Hines, who believed that the issue of coalition has been approached wrong, maybe from both sides. He argued that the APNU has been negotiating on its strength, while the AFC might have been negotiating based on its experiences. This, he said, was bound to cause clashes and cause some friction that will ultimately result in the parties not finding any compromise. Surrounded by 1,000 roses, the body of 11-year-old Adriana Young laid in a pink casket at the Virgin Regent tarmac on the east bank of Essequibo on Sunday, as thousands of Guyanese joined her grieving parents, relatives, and school friends in demanding justice while bidding their final goodbye. Lost in grief besides her casket, Adriana's mother, Amicia Simon, wailed bitterly. Her eldest daughter's face is now tattooed to her arm. Adriana, who attended the Perica Salem Primary School, was found on the 24th of April in the pool of the Doubleday Hotel, one day after she was reported missing at the same hotel. Her death triggered widespread protests. At her funeral, she was eulogized in words, songs, and dance. Her aunt Amika Lewis remembered Adriana as a radiant angel who was born on the 12th of November.
As the firstborn, she quickly became a beacon of love, respect, and care within the family. She was warm-hearted, kind, and always willing to help others. She encouraged her younger siblings, Gabriella and Said, through cajoling, through coaching, through reprimanding, to strive for excellence and set an example of discipline, obedience, and exemplary behavior.
Remembered as a devoted Christian, Adriana enjoyed attending Sunday school. Having completed the National Grade 6 assessment exams days before her death, she dreamt of one day attending Queen's College or the Seaburg Secondary School.
Adriana was a joyful and optimistic child with wisdom far beyond her years. She often spoke of her dreams and had already envisioned herself walking the halls of Queen's College. She was a little visionary with big dreams, determined, driven, and destined for greatness. And even though I would like to add here, her life was cut short, she indeed achieved that greatness, even in her death.
To her teachers and classmates, Adriana Young was more than just another student. She was special. One of her teachers said the class is not the same with Adriana's absence.
Her voice is missing from our lessons. Her smile is missing from our halls. And every single day, we miss her more and more. Adriana was taken from us in a way that was cruel, painful, and wrong. She did not deserve to be hurt. No child deserved that. She deserved a future full of dreams, laughter, and life. Today, we not only remembering Adriana with love, but we also call for justice. We ask that those who hurt her be held responsible. We ask for fairness, we ask for truth, and we owe it to her never to be silent.
At the graveside, her father stood for more than 30 minutes talking directly to the casket bearing the body of his firstborn. He reflected on their times together, the scoldings and laughter, and how well she knew him. Before sealing the tomb, he placed his hat on top of the casket as a final personal gift. Adriana Young was laid to rest at the Virgin Regent Cemetery almost 2 months after her death. There are still calls for justice, as family members still question her death at the hotel. The World Trade Center Georgetown was commissioned on Friday in the Kingston area. President Ali said the opening signifies a new high for Guyana. During his address at that opening, the president said it was important to establish the World Trade Center Guyana since it signifies Guyana's positioning in the global community. He said the government is trying to position the country in a way that is going to be transformative, not just for Guyana, but also for the Caribbean region. According to the president, with the investments already here and the others that are likely to come in, the government is confident about the outlook of the country and the major role it will be able to play globally.
Having a building is one thing, but having a building that has certain characteristics is another story. I mean, when the sophisticated investors speak to you and here you have common service under the World Trade Center, it sends a different signal. So we're signaling to the international community, the sophisticated investors, that we are ready to play in any league. We are ready to play in any league, and that's very important.
President Ali noted that the World Trade Center Georgetown and similar organizations within the network is critical for the administration's current phase of transformation.
So I look forward to the World Trade Center Georgetown helping to shape this new economic culture in our country, one that speaks the language of export readiness, trade facilitation, and global competitiveness, with the tools, networks, and exposure needed to compete and win on the global stage.
But while hailing the private sector investment, the president said issues for small and medium-sized enterprises, especially how an enabling environment can be created for them, must be examined closely. Meanwhile, the chairman of the World Trade Center Georgetown, Kamal Samaru, said the new center has already hit the ground running to collaborate with a number of international companies.
Since the license acquisition, WTC Georgetown has been quite active in work of the WTCA, promoting Guyana collaboration in areas including information exchange on regulation and market access, training to including training in Chinese language, and exchange of trade and investment mission.
The World Trade Center Georgetown is expected to play an active role in helping Guyanese businesses, especially small and medium enterprises, to promote their offerings locally and internationally, build business connections, access markets, and contribute to best practices, which they hope will facilitate the growth and expansion of those businesses. In the world of business and commerce, a $25 million mall is to be built at Enmore on the east coast of Demerara as part of a major mega project to be undertaken by the Buddies Housing Development Company. In announcing the venture, the company said the Shoreline Mall will span 300,000 square feet and is expected to become a major commercial hub, offering a mix of retail, entertainment, dining, and professional services. It is expected to complement Shoreline Estates, which is an exclusive 89-unit condominium project at the same location. The Shoreline Mall will feature a wide variety of outlets, including a large supermarket, a full-service pharmacy, home goods and furniture stores, fashion and footwear retailers, beauty and wellness shops, as well as mobile and electronics providers. The company also explained that the development also caters to service-based businesses, with spaces for banks, insurance companies, telephone agencies, salons and spas, courier services, and more. Dining options are to include a full food court with international franchises, dining restaurants, cafes, desert bars, and plans for a rooftop or terrace lounge, while entertainment facilities will feature a modern movie theater and an arcade or play zone for children, as well as space for events and private functions. A bowling alley and a gym are also under consideration. The company said the mall will be constructed to international standards, drawing inspiration from modern commercial centers in Toronto, Canada, and other North American areas. The developer sees the project as a driver of job creation and a much-needed source of modern infrastructure for surrounding communities on the east coast of the Marara Corridor.
You've asked for it, and it's here. Ronald Hollingsworth, till I find a place in Guyana too. The Spanish baby.
That's it! You come and shut this baby up, yeah? This is creepy baby you got here, y'all.
See, ever since this baby born, you ain't take over, feed her, or nothing. What kind of father is you?
It's Godfather. This is what kind of father I be.
June 28 and 29, 8 p.m. at the National Cultural Center.
The baby can never be me own. You got to take the baby and turn to the father.
No, me have you, okay?
Hear that? You hear that?
Tickets $3,000 and $2,500. Directed by Sharon Cadogan Taylor and Ronald Hollingsworth. Till I find a place in Guyana too. The Spanish baby.
Sponsored by Sylvie's Industrial Solutions, Camley's Academy, and the Ministry of Natural Resources.
A nation united for one powerful night of praise and worship. It's the One Guyana Worship Experience. Monday, July 7th, CARICOM Day at the Guyana National Stadium, Providence, starting from 6 p.m. Join us for an unforgettable evening featuring international award-winning gospel ministers Chandler Moore, Todd Dulaney, Samuel Midas, Renwick Dewsbury. Out of Jamaica, the viral sensation, Prince Saj, also ministering, Faith Kurika, Cheryl Maloney, Timothy Roberts, Apostle Sean Sobers, Miriam Williams, Joshua Joe, and many more. The One Guyana Worship Experience, Monday, July 7th at the National Stadium. Admission is absolutely free, but you must secure your passes through your local churches, online, and designated outlets across the country. One nation, one people, one worship. The One Guyana Worship Experience. Don't miss it.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Washi. Hi people. Washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say wash it soap powder, wash clothes so nice. Wash it soap powder, leave your clothes color bright. Wash it soap powder, leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks for wash it soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright, have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Wash it soap powder, wash clothes so nice. Wash it soap powder, leave your clothes color bright. Wash it soap powder, have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Stabrook Market.
New York City, summer is about to get hot. Saturday, August 2nd, SR Hamilton LLC presents Gospel Infusion. Featuring Samuel Meadows, Psycho, Eddie Neblett, Sean Daniels out of Trinidad, Christelle Brandt, Sherilyn Maloney, DJ Kesta D,
Timothy Roberts,
and many more at the South Jamaica Multi-Service Center, 11402 Guy R. Brewer Boulevard, Queens, New York. Gates open at 4 p.m., showtime 5 p.m. Get your super early bird tickets for only $50. General admission $70. Pay more at the gate, and limited VIP $100 all inclusive. Come and experience the outpouring of God's grace Saturday, August 2nd. For more information, visit Gospel Infusion on Facebook and Instagram.
A 24-year-old security guard attached to the Castle Security Company took matters into his own hands on Sunday morning and carried out a $13.1 million robbery at the Fantasy Gaming Lounge while on duty protecting the same facility, the police reported today. The gaming lounge is located in the compound of the Giftland Mall. The police said the suspect used his employer's 9mm handgun to carry out the heist. According to the police statement, at around 5:30 on Sunday morning, the 21-year-old supervisor at the gaming lounge exited the cashier area to assist the floor supervisor with cleaning up a section of the gaming area, since there were no customers present at the time. It was then that a security guard approached the two supervisors, fired a shot in the air, pointed his service weapon at them, and demanded that the electronic door to the cashier's area be opened. The duty supervisor complied and was forced into the cashier area along with the other supervisor by the security guard. They were also forced to open the vault and place the cash from the vault into a nearby garbage basket. The armed suspect casually walked out of the building with the money, leaving the two shaken staffers behind. The police said CCTV cameras at the Giftland Mall captured the suspect walking out of the Giftland access road, then turning west onto the railway embankment and stopping a motor car PZZ 5690 which drove away in a western direction. Detectives who processed the area recovered one 9mm spent shell. The police said checks were made to locate the suspect, but without any success. His house was located and searched, but no cash was found. Efforts are also now being made to locate the driver of the car who picked up the suspect on the roadway. A driver and a pedestrian lost their lives tragically on Sunday in an accident along the Bellevue Public Road on the west coast of Berbice. The two dead persons had been identified as 29-year-old Davin Daniels, who was the driver of the car, and 49-year-old pedestrian Mark George. Police investigations have revealed so far that the car was being driven at a fast rate in an eastern direction along the northern side of the Bellevue Public Road when the driver suddenly lost control. The car swerved to the southern side of the roadway and collided with a vegetable stall. It continued to spin out of control and then collided with a bus shed where the pedestrian was sitting. The shed was hit down, pinning the pedestrian underneath it, as the car came to a halt after crashing into a utility pole. The 29-year-old driver was pulled from the car, and the pedestrian was eventually pulled out from under the collapsed bus shed. The two men were rushed to the Fort Wellington Hospital, but were both pronounced dead on arrival by the doctor on duty. An investigation into that incident is ongoing tonight. Investigations into the disappearance of 48-year-old Jenny Mohammed turned into a murder probe over the weekend after the woman's lifeless body was found packed into garbage bags and dumped in a swampy area at the side of the New Eccles to Ogle roadway, in a section that leads to the dump site. The woman had been reported missing by family members just over a week ago. 3 of those family members, including her husband and her daughter, have since been arrested for questioning about the murder. The police said the daughter has since admitted to the murder. The third suspect in custody is the daughter's husband, who the police claim also played a role in the murder. Police investigators have revealed that the body bore multiple stab wounds to several parts of it. Investigators suspect that the woman might have been murdered several days ago at her home, but her body was eventually moved and dumped in the swampy area at the side of the roadway, possibly a day or 2 days after the murder. The police said the home bore evidence of the murder. The investigations are ongoing tonight in the Nonpareil area. The Guyana Police Force has announced its intention to pursue extradition proceedings against New York-based Guyanese political activist Rickford Burke over allegations of extortion. Burke has denied those allegations. The announcement by the police came one day after the acting Chief Justice, Roxanne George, declared that a charge of criminal defamation liable to be unconstitutional. The police had filed that same charge against Mr. Burke in the local courts. It was dismissed by the acting Chief Justice in her ruling. In that ruling, Justice George also hammered the Guyana Police Force over its attempt to serve a summons on Mr. Burke in New York. In a statement on Saturday night, the Guyana Police Force said, notwithstanding that ruling by the Chief Justice, it maintains that it is in possession of cogent, compelling, and irrefutable evidence that Rickford Burke has engaged in the conduct of extorting money from a local businessman. The police said the matter is under review, and legal advice is being sought on the institution of new charges, noting that since Burke remains outside of the jurisdiction, extradition proceedings will be pursued under the Fugitive Offenders Act. The allegations against Rickford Burke stem from him allegedly using his social media pages to highlight concerns from aggrieved customers about vehicles bought at BM Soot Auto Sales in Lusignan. In her ruling against the criminal defamation libel charge, the acting Chief Justice noted that Burke has been living out of Guyana and has not visited Guyana for the past 27 years, which was not disputed by the police or the Immigration Department. She questioned how in that charge he could be accused of committing a crime at Lusignan recently when he has not been in the country for more than 2.5 decades. In roasting the police over its decision to send one of its officers to a foreign jurisdiction to serve a summons, Justice George noted that the move was unlawful, and the summons would have no legal bearing outside the jurisdiction of Guyana. She said the court frowns on the course of action taken by the prosecution and the police to in effect send an officer on a frolic on what must have been at taxpayers' expense. The acting Chief Justice said the laws of Guyana provide for the return of persons who are accused of criminal offenses through the Fugitive Offenders Act, and with all of the legislative requirements being followed.
Prostate cancer is one of the most common cancers in men, but early detection can save lives. So, who needs to be screened? If you're 50 or older, it's time to talk to your doctor about screening. But some men need to start even earlier. Your risk is higher if you have a family history of prostate cancer. Screening may be recommended as early as 40 years. Screening is quick and can include a PSA blood test or a simple exam. It's the first step in catching prostate cancer early, when it's most treatable. Don't wait. If you're at risk, get screened, because taking care of your health means being there for the moments that matter most. Screen early, live fully.
When the night has come and the land is dark.
Somebody in a happy mood.
Yes, Pujilu, because Van's birthday coming up and I gonna be present.
Last year your friend them been.
And you like that?
If me and you ain't go together this year, things gonna be dark, really dark.
Let's celebrate the band's birthday on Saturday, 28th of June at the National Park with 9 one-man bands and Granny Ivy.
Big birthday!
Early bird tickets for $2,000. Stage front, $5,000. Tickets located at Just Your Size Boutique, Stovetop, White Castle Fish Shop, Fireside Suites, and Team Extra Stabrook Market. Band's birthday 2025, June 28th at the National Park. Gates open from 6 p.m. and free gate upon entry.
Ooh, la, la, la. Let's go dancing.
Buster presenting the new 500 milliliter. Wow, Buster flavorful. Make every meal better. Grab a Buster for drink, Buster move. Taste this. 500 ml, that's it. Buster for this, that's cool. Buster 500 milliliter is a brand new choice of my drink with my food. Vibing every munch, that's smooth. Introducing the new Buster 500 milliliter. Grab a bottle with your lunch today.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guy Oil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Gaya's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Gaia Oil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall in the region. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will make a state visit to Trinidad and Tobago in the first week of July. Modi last visited Trinidad and Tobago in 2002 as part of a delegation of Indian Hindus attending the World Hindu Conference. This upcoming visit will mark his first official trip to the country since becoming India's Prime Minister in 2014. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar, when contacted by the Express News on Sunday, confirmed Modi's visit and disclosed she had extended an invitation to him on behalf of the government of Trinidad and Tobago. According to Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar, several memorandums of understanding will be signed to strengthen bilateral relations between the two countries. Modi, India's Prime Minister from 2014 to 2019, was re-elected for a second term from 2019 to 2024 and was sworn in for a third consecutive term in June 2024. He will be the first foreign leader hosted by Persad-Bissessar since she was elected Prime Minister on April 28. An 8-year-old girl was among 3 people who died in a motor vehicle crash at the intersection of the Salt River and Mitchelltown main roads in Clarendon, Jamaica, on Saturday morning. According to Jamaica Observer, the incident occurred at around 9:15 a.m. and involved a truck and a car. Along with a child, a 44-year-old woman and a 46-year-old man were killed in the accident. Since the start of the year, 181 people have been killed in traffic accidents in Jamaica, compared to 198 in 2024. And finally tonight, international news. Iran's military said it carried out a missile attack on the U.S. air base in Qatar on Monday after explosions were heard across the Qatari capital following Tehran's threat to retaliate for U.S. airstrikes on its nuclear sites. According to Reuters, the Iranian military said the attack was devastating and powerful, but U.S. officials said no U.S. personnel were killed or injured in the attack on the airbase, the largest U.S. military installation in the Middle East. Iran, which had been warned by Washington not to retaliate or face massive U.S. military action, had informed the U.S. via 2 diplomatic channels hours ahead of the attack, as well as Qatari authorities. A senior regional source told Reuters. Qatar's defense minister told Al Jazeera its air defenses had intercepted missiles directed at the air base. Iran had issued threats to retaliate against the United States after U.S. bombers dropped 30,000-pound bunker busters on Iranian underground nuclear facilities at the weekend, joining Israel's air war against Iran. And President Donald Trump proposed the possibility of the Iranian government being toppled. The attack came shortly after a Western diplomat told Reuters there had been a credible threat to a U.S. military base in the Gulf state, following the unprecedented U.S. strikes on Iran's uranium enrichment program. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant evening.